Aurangzeb says, show us a miracle, we will let them go and we will hold the plight of the Kashmiri Pandits no more. That those 5,000 that you've come to stand for, they will be released as well. They say, you're asking me to show you a miracle. Be my beloved Pyare Gursikhs, by Mati Das, by Sati Das, by Dayala Ji. They've just given their lives for people that they've never met from a faraway place of a different Dharam. They've given their lives in the defense of a Dharam other than their own. For people that they've never met who are complete strangers from a land that they've never been to. If you can't recognize the miracle in that Qurbani, in that Shaheedi, what miracle would you recognize before today? परम सत्कारयोग गुरु खालसा साध संगत जी गज वज के फतेह बुलाओ वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. We're all blessed to be in the company of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj in their 11th, in their eternal form, Tan Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Just recently, just the day before yesterday, we celebrated the Guru Gaddi Divas of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj, and today we commemorate the Shaheedi Purab of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, their father, our grandfather. And today, with a bit of grace, with Guru Sahib's compassion and their kindness, we're going to have a chance to take our minds to the Shaheedi of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, and an aspect of this Shaheedi and the events that took place that secured the foundations of the Guru Khalsa, aspects of that perhaps we don't focus on as much as we do other parts of Itihas. So we'll speak of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, but perhaps in not the detail that you will otherwise have heard. You can go on the channel and you can see many of the Katha Vajiks have spoken on the Shaheedi of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. If we had all the time in the world, we couldn't do justice to it. But there's a part of that Itihas that we touch upon sometimes that we don't do enough justice to. So we are, with the graces of Guru Maharaj, we're going to speak of those great Gurmukhs in the company of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. And in many ways, I find the Itihas of Lakhi, Shah, Vanjara and the Sikhya that they gave us much more relatable, because we can put ourselves in the position of what it means to be a Gursikh in a difficult circumstance, as many of us face day to day. What strength can we draw? We can draw from the strength of those that have walked that path. So we know when we go back to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, as they sit on the takht in Anandpur Sahib, the Mughals are bent upon converting the whole of Hindustan under the banner of Islam. Aurangzeb writes that I will not rest until the whole of Hindustan is converted under the banner of Islam. From the Mughal parliament, if you will, edicts are issued for places of education to be targeted and for the leaders of those institutions to be given ultimatums: convert to Islam or lose your heads. And we know that the Kashmiri Pandits, that they were approached by emissaries from the government and they were told, give up your Dharam. Kashmiri Pandits is that place where all of the teachings of the Pandits of the Hindu faith, the Veds, the Shastras, the Simritis, it's the highest schools, the Cambridge universities, if you will, of that time. And the leaders of those institutions were told, give up your Dharam, convert to Islam, or we're going to cut off your heads. There were 5,000 Kashmiri Pandits. They were led by a contingent of between 14 to 16 leaders, one of whom was name was Girparam. We know that they went to their place of puja. They said to those that were sent, Khan that was sent from the emperor, they say to that Khan, give us some time to just reflect upon the ultimatum. We don't want to lose our heads. We don't want to give up our Dharam. They go to Amarnath Puri, which is a place in the Sanatan Dharam where Shiv Ji is said to have come to this earth. They go to Amarnath, they undertake their puja, and Shiv Ji, they send a message that in this dark age of Kaljug, there's only one place where you will have a sanctuary. Be sabte vadda Satguru Nanak jin kal rakhi meri. Says Guru Maharaj, they explain that in this dark age of Kaljug, there's only one place where there's going to be that sanctuary. And those Pandits were told, seek out the Nishan Sahib, seek out the house of Guru Ramdas Ji Maharaj, Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. And so leaving their families, they would go to seek out Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. They would go to seek out the house of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, where now sits on the throne Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. And we know that as the Kashmiri Pandits come into the Darbar, they say to Maharaj, we're being threatened with persecution. We're being told to give up our Dharam. We don't want to give up our Dharam, but our families lie in the balance. 5,000 of our families lie in the balance, and the extinction of our people. Will you stand for us? We know from our itihas, as recorded and celebrated, that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji would ask an open question to the Sangha, that this request is being made for us to stand, but on the weight of this scale, if you look at a scale, on one side of the scale is 5,000 Pandits. What offering would have to be made to weigh out the weight of 5,000 people? And a voice speaks out, an 8.5-year-old voice is heard in the darbar of kings and warriors and soldiers. A voice of an 8.5-year-old, he speaks out, and they say, Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, they say, Pitaji, Father, can I speak? In the deafening silence, Gobind Rai speaks out, and they say, Maharaj, whom is there greater upon this earth than yourself to make that sacrifice? And we know that pleased by these offerings, the Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji would ready themselves. They would, in the company of 5 Gursikhs, they would set out from Anandpur Sahib, never to return in the physical form, but never to leave in the spirit form. And that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji would set out from Anandpur Sahib to challenge that darkness, and they would challenge the emperor and say to the emperor, as they approach Delhi, they get surrounded by 1,200 soldiers who arrest them and take them to Chandni Chowk, this public gallery to be made an example of. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is placed in a pinjari, a cage. The cage is quite small, so you can't stand. You can't squat because there's spikes on the sides, and it's a very uncomfortable situation. It's like a stress position. And the Guru Sikhs that are now remaining with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, by Mati Daas, by Sati Daas, by Dayala Ji, they're brought forward. Expecting the Guru Sikhs to relinquish their faith for fear of what might happen to them, or the Guru in fact to do the same, the offering is made, we convert to Islam and we'll spare you. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, they give that jawab that I'm not here to receive your demands, I'm here to make one of my own. I challenge you that if you do not recoil from the constant condemnation and the persecution of these 5,000 Pandits, I challenge you now, if you can succeed in your endeavors to convert me or the Guru Sikhs that are in my company, then those 5,000 Pandits, they will accept. But if you can't, you must leave them be. And that in this way, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they would put down this challenge that they would never leave their Dharam. And so it was that Bhai Mati Das Ji was asked to convert to Islam, and many temptations were put before them, and they refused to give up their Dharam. That they were told, we're going to saw you in half, and a saw was placed upon the head of Bhai Mati Das Ji. They said to Bhai Mati Das Ji, you're going to lose your head now. What's your last request? Tied to a frame that they can't move from, with a saw placed upon the head that's so big it takes 2 to draw it forth and back. Bhai Mati Das Ji says, my only request before this saw cuts through my body is that you pivot this frame, because my Guru is out of my sight, that I can gaze upon my Satguru Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. As you draw the blood from the body, let it not be the case that I've lost sight of my Satguru. Akho Satanam Sri Karvat Pala Nak Karvat Teri Lag Gale Sun Binti Mary, says the Guru, Karavat Pala, I can have a sore on my head, you can cut my head, you can torture me, Karavat Pala, Ovi Palaya, Karavat Teri, but don't ever let it be the case that I've turned my back on my Guru, that my Guru has turned their back on me. Akho Satanam Sri. But what Sikhya is this, Sadh Sangat Ji? Bhai Mati Das, she's giving us that Sikhya, that if someone was to come and stand before you and in some way challenge you with your Dharam, no one's going to place a saw upon your head and drive it through and splinter the bones of your skull in your cranium, that it shatters as it draws through your bones and then your flesh. But in a different way, we're slowly being sawed away at as the grip of Maya is upon us. Make no mistake about it, Sad Sangat Ji. There is that war to take us from our Sikhi. Every single day, Maya is not sleeping. And in this way, you should be awake to the sore upon your head. Maharaj says, Maya, Mamata, Mohini, Jinavina Tanta, Jag Khaya. Without any teeth. Think of the teeth of a saw, right? Continuing that metaphor. Maharaj is saying that Maya without any teeth that a saw might have, that you can see and you can run away from. Maya, Mamata, Mohini, Jinavina Danta, Jag Khaya. Without any teeth, Maya is eating us alive. The saw is drawn backwards and forwards through the flesh of Bhai Mati Das Ji, and no screams are heard. All you can hear from Bhai Mati Das Ji is the Japji Sahib of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. It is said, Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, when you go to the Tika of Sant Gyani Bachan Singh Ji Khasa Pindra Wale, when you go to the Tika, you go to the Paudi of Panch Paravan, Panch Pradhan, Panche Pavehe, Dargeh Man. It's written in that Pankti that this is the Pankti that Bhai Mati Das Ji has reached when the saw completes its task and cuts Bhai Mati Das Ji in two. The two parts of Bhai Mati Das Ji's body come apart, but from within their sareed, across that gallery, in the presence of all those witnesses, you can still hear Panch Paravan, Panch Pradhan, Panche Pave, Darge Man, Panche Sohe Dar Rajan, Pancha Kagur Ek Dhyan. The Japji can still be heard resounding from that place. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, Bhai Mati Das Ji would give their dharam. They would give up their life, but they wouldn't give up their dharam. Sis diya par sir na diya. They would give their physical body, but they wouldn't give up their dharam. Their younger brother, Bhai Sati Das Ji, said, look what we've done to your brother. Give up your dharam. We'll give you riches. We'll give you women. The Mughals, they would capture women. They would be sold as slaves back in Afghanistan, as it's now modern day referred to. Bhai Sati Das Ji says, do what you will with me, but there's not going to be any parting from my Sikhi. Bhai Sati Das Ji is they're tied in a circle with cotton, and having that cotton tied to their body, they're pegged to the ground so that they can't move from that place with a wooden peg. And in this way, a fire is set in the flesh of Bhai Sati Das Ji while they would recite the Mool Mantra, Ekku Ankar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Murat Ajuni Saipang Gur Prasad Japa Ad Sach Jugad Sach Hai Pi Sach Nanak Hosi Pi Sach. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, when you walk around your house, vibrate upon the Mool Mantra. When you washed your face and you tied your patka, you're tying your keski, do the Mool Mantra. You've had a new parcel come through from Amazon, you're trying something on, recite the Mool Mantra. The Mool Mantra is something that's so accessible to all of us. In fact, this is the gift of Guru Sikhi, that none of it is beyond our reach. Gyani Hari Singh Ji would come to the UK just 2 years ago, arguably the most advanced scholar of the Panth. And they come here, in this Gurugar, they do Katha here for a week, every time that they come to the UK. When the Panth have issues on an international level, when they need someone to represent the Panth, Gyani Hari Singh Ji is who they put forward. They are the Vadvan, they're the most knowledgeable. When the most complicated issues come to be resolved, Gyani Hari Singh Ji is the one that they would ask to give the opinions. I asked Gyani Hari Singh Ji, I said, Gyani Ji, Pikera Shabad apa pariye? What part should we recite? What has got the most Shakti? What is the Shabad that we should join with in Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj? Gyani Hari Singh Ji has done the Katha of the whole of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. They say the most Shakti and the most powerful part that we can vibrate upon is the Guru Mantra and the Mool Mantra of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Akho Satnam Sri. Bhai Sati Das Ji, they have the fire in their flesh, but within them they are completely cool. Jalan buji sital hua manwa sadguru ka darsan paaye jiyo. Just by looking upon the Guru in that flame of suffering, they find themselves completely cooled. Darshan dekhta dokh na se. Darshan dekhta dokh na se. Just by gazing upon Sadguru Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, there was no fire for Bhai Sati Das Ji. They turn to the third, Bhai Dayala Ji. They say to Bhai Dayala Ji, give up your dharam. We're going to look what's happened to those that have been before you. They get a cauldron of boiling water. They say, we're going to cook you in that cauldron. Give us your jawab. What say you? Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, we can listen very carefully to the subtleties of our itihas. By Dayala Ji, they don't even give a jawab. They don't even give a reply. They walk up the plank and they submerge themselves in that water. And the only thing that you can hear is them speaking to Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. All you can hear is Ad Guru e Namahe. So Jugad Guru e Namahe. Sat Guru e Namahe. Sri Guru Dev e Namahe. Ashtapati. Simaro, Simar, Simar Sukpavo. Kal Kalestan. You know the Shabad. All that you can hear is the Sri Sukhmani Sahib of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji. That one that would sit on the Tatti Tavi, they would take that example, they would bring it into their own life. It is said that by Dayala Ji's flesh separated from their bones, whilst their flesh separated from their bones, they were more one than we could even understand. The executioners, they report back to Aurangzeb. They say this one, the Anwar Khan, this one that the Khan has gone and captured with these 1,200 soldiers. Maybe we shouldn't be messing with that one. But look at their Gursikhs. By Mati Das Ji, he's been sawn in half and would not accept to convert to Islam. By Sati Das Ji, would not even flinch at the prospect of giving up their Dharam. By Dayala Ji, he's been boiled alive with the Shabad of the Guru upon their lips. Maybe their Guru we shouldn't be undertaking this way. Maybe their Guru is one that we shouldn't be taking undertakings against in this way. Aurangzeb says, fine. Tell the Guru to show me a miracle. If the Guru presents a miracle in Chandni Chowk, which the Guru is very famous for having shown to many Guru Sikhs many miracles, and if we had the time we could go into the history, but suffice to say time is always against us when we open the Khajana of the Guru's history. Aurangzeb says, tell them to show us a miracle. If they show us a miracle, we will let them go and we will hold the plight of the Kashmiri Pandits no more. That those 5,000 that you've come to stand for, they will be released as well. They won't have to convert to Islam, they can carry on. The jailer, his name is Abdul. In fact, he was a Muslim and he'd fallen in a great deal of love with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. They come back excited because the fragrance of love has fallen into their own heart. And they're excited to give this before Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji because they're the greatest form of Parameshwar of Vaheguru. Performing a miracle would be of no issue for Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. So completely happy within their mind that this is going to be easily fulfilled, and then they won't have to see that one who's slowly becoming their Guru suffering in this way. They give the emperor's terms. And what Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji would say in reply, Sad Sangat Ji, our hope stays with us until we draw our last breaths on this earth. Such sikhya we can take from Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. What do they say? They say, you're asking me to show you a miracle. Be my beloved Pyare Gursikhs, by Mati Das, by Sati Das, by Dayala Ji. They've just given their lives for people that they've never met. From a faraway place of a different Dharam. They've given their lives in the defense of a Dharam other than their own. For people that they've never met who are complete strangers from a land that they've never been to. If you can't recognize the miracle in that Qurbani, in that Shaheedi, what miracle would you recognize before today? You want me to perform some sort of a trick? Guru Maharaj was teaching us the man that we should have, the satkar that we should have, for those that have given their blood for the Khalsa Panth. Akho Satanam Sri. Every day, Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, in Guru Kar across the world, led by a Darbar, we say, Jinna Singha, Singhani Anataram, Head Sistite, Band Katai, Kopri Lahaya Char Khariande Chare, Tan Are, Chire Nal. Be those Singhs and Singhaniya, Jinnah Singha, Singhanina Taram, Hesitete, they never gave up their Dharam. They were band katai, they were broken in pieces. They were tied to wheels and crushed, but they never gave up their Dharam. This is the bloodline that we descended from, and it's also the example to us for the way that we should live our lives. Make no mistake about it, Sad Sangat Ji, Itihas is not just a play for us to read out. Our itihas is there as a roadmap for us that we can see how Gurbani should be applied. Pehla maran kabool, jeevan ki chhad aas. Maharaj says, if on this path of the Guru, accept that first in this path of Dharam. Give up your own asara, because now it is the Guru's life that we're here to live. That it's the Guru's life to do as they will with. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, they refused to give acceptance to the Emperor's demands. And they stand true to their own ultimatum, never giving up their dharam. And they would give their head. That when Jalal-Din would come forward and say, we're going to chop off your head, we don't think for a second that I'm not going to proceed with this. Jalal-Din was the executioner. As he comes forward and Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is presented in Chandni Chowk, many hundreds would have been standing there onlooking. It was the intention of the Mughal Empire to instill fear and terror. This is what happens if you stand up against the request to give up your dharam. In this way, many were there, including many Gursikhs that weren't recognized, that came in ordinary garb, in ordinary clothing. And when Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was brought out into that chowk to be executed, Jalal-Din is sharpening his blade. And he looks down at Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj and he says, but don't think that I'm not going to go through with this. But now's your last chance. Don't think that I'm not going to take your head. I come from a long family of executioners. We've never failed. My father was an executioner. My father's father was an executioner. At this point, Guru Pyari Sahib Sangat Ji, that one that is completely the form of Bairag, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is completely out of the illusion of Maya. They have no blemishes upon their body. At this point, it is said that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji let out such a thunderous laugh that it echoed in the heavens. They say, you're telling me that you're not going to fail. But don't think for a second that I'm going to waver. You come from a line of executioners. In the line of my Guru's house is Shaheedi. But you're telling me that your father's father was an executioner? My father's father gave Shaheedi. And whilst they did that, upon their lips were the words, Tera kiya meetha lage, har naam padarat Nanak mange. This is sweet to me. So it was Guru Pyari Sahib Sangat Ji that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, as they're about to become Shaheed, in the worldly sense, that one, we're going to leave their physical body. In this time, just before they're about to give Shaheedi, they write a letter for the Sadh Sangat, a letter for Mata Nanaki Ji, their mother, a letter for Mata Gujri Ji, their wife, and a letter for Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. That letter, Sadh Sangat Ji, you can all read. The letter is now under the name Salok Mahalla Nava. You can find that in most online Gurkha Sahibs. The Sangat in Anandpur Sabha hearing about what's happening in Chandni Chowk. The Sangat are worried that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, are you going to return? Their mother, Mata Nanaki Ji, she's concerned about her son. Mata Gujri Ji, she has concerns within her heart as well. Is my husband going to return? Then of course there is the test for Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. Not for anybody, not that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji had to test Guru Gobind Singh Ji for them. They knew their heart. Kat mein har juba se santan keho bakar. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji knows the hearts of all. But the test was to show us the qualities of our Sadguru Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. So what did Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji do? They send a letter of love, explaining the deeper meanings of life by contrasting it against what death really is. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji gives us such an understanding of death that it gives a deeper understanding of life. And that whole itihas, Sadh Sangat Ji, is actually on the YouTube channel. You can search, I'm not sure what it's called, but if you type in Salok Mahalla, the meaning of basics of Sikhi, there's a video on there. Maybe we can put a link up and you can scan it. I'm not sure if we've got the ability to do that. But there's actually a Katha which we've done on the Uttanika, the history of Salok Mahalla. But we're going to just touch upon that letter now, because to talk about Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji without speaking about Salok Mahalla. So the letter is to the Sangat, addressing the concerns in the minds of the Sangat. concerns which we all have or will have at some point in our lives, when we're facing death, when someone around us is going to die, when we've lost somebody, or when we ourselves have been diagnosed with an illness, or we're facing how it might be, however you might interpret it. And that Shabad, the first 49 saloks were addressed for the benefit of the Sangat. And they begin, and just to touch upon the saloks, the first salok, Gun Gobind gayo nahi janame akar takin kaho nanak paj harmana jehbid jalko meen. Maharaj says, Gun Gobind gayo nahi, that if you go through life and you don't vibrate upon the name of God, Gun Gobind gayo nahi janame akar takin, then your life is a karat. It has no meaning. So what this means, Sat Sangat Ji, is really important that we take this Sikhya. We don't just come and we listen, that we learn something that we can apply. What this means, Sat Sangat Ji, is that during the course of our days, daily, we should bring the nit, the name into our days that we do Simran. Whether we start by doing it on the train from the Elizabeth line down the road, whether we're sitting in the company of our families in the morning, which would be ideal. There cannot be a better way to start your family's day, to sit in the company of your family and to do Simran, or in your own company of your own room. Gunu Gobind gayo nahi janame akar takin kaho nanak pajaharamana jehbid jalko amin. Says Guru Maharaj, just like a fish without water wouldn't survive, you should recognize that without Simran, we are not surviving. We might be alive in the worldly sense, but we're really dead inside. Again, just because of the time constraints, we can't go too much into the detail. For Mata Nanaki Ji, their mother, they send the pankti, they send the two couplets. Ram gayo, Ravan gayo, Jako bahu paravar, kaho nanak thir kach nahi, supne jo sansar. They say to their mother, Be Ram gayo, but you're worried about me going from this world. Be Ram gayo, Ram had to leave this world. Ravan, who had 100,000 children in their lineage. Ram gayo, Ravan gayo, Jako bahu paravar. They left this world and their lineage came to an end. So did their paravar. Kaho nanak thir kach nahi, supne jo sansar. We know this world to be a dream. If you attach yourself to a dream, then you're going to suffer. Gyanikul Vansinji talks about this. They say if you go into a dream and in that dream you're really hungry and you suffer because of that hunger, but you wake from that dream, are you really going to need to eat? No, because that Maya has gripped you in the dream. We don't let the desires of the mind in Maya govern the way that we live. Wake from that dream. Kaho nanak thir kach nahi, supne jo sansar. This word is just a supana. They write to their male, to their wife, Mata Gujri Ji. Mata Gujri Ji is no lightweight Sat Sangat Ji. If we could spend an hour to talk about Guru Maharaj's wife, Mata Gujri Ji, they would show us the meaning of strength in so many ways. Their Shakti, to see their husband become Shaheed, their son, Guru Gobind Ji Maharaj, we know of their itihas, their grandchildren become Shaheed, to endure so much and to remain deed, dige na dole, drid kar rahe ho, to remain completely in line with the Guru's hukum. This is no small thing. Sikhi is born into this world through the wombs of mothers that are worthy. I'll say that again, Sat Sangat Ji. Sikhi is born into this world through the mothers that are worthy. We owe our Sikhi to that female energy. We should do well to remember that. And our mothers should do well to remember that responsibility lies primarily with you. When we look to our itihas, this is repeated again and again through examples. Even when Sant Janel Singh Ji Khasa Pindrawale, when they wanted darshan of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, and they were not given it upon their requests, who did they go to? Who did they make their ardas to? Who was the woman? Who was the male, the female that they would go to? Mata Sahib Deva. And even to this day, in Hazur Sahib, the Mool Mantra continues at that astan where Mata Sahib Deva bring those blessings. Khair Guru Sikh Pyareo, we haven't got time to make this many departations, but the house of the Guru, so many gems that just keep taking us away from the spine of what we're trying to share today. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, they give their head. Their head, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj says to the Sangat, these are the Sikhya for you. They say to Mata Nanaki Ji, this is the Sikhya for you. They say to Mata Gujri Ji, this is the Sikhya for you. And they asked a question of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. Bhi bal shutkyo bandhan pare, kachu na hote upaay, kaho Nanak ab hot har, gaj jo ho sahai. They say, all of my strength is gone. There's no strength left within me. Save me, Lord, just as you saved the elephant. They're talking about a historical account, which we haven't got time to go into, but suffice to say, they're saying to Maharaj, look, they're saying to Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj, this is my condition in the Pinjari. When Guru Gobind Singh Ji receives a letter in Anandpur Sahib, they write back. They say, Maharaj, no. Don't think for a second that I'm going to waver in this test. They say, Bal hoa bandhan pare, sab kich hote upaay, Nanak sab kich tumre haath mein, tum hi hot sahai. They say, Bal hoa, your strength is never going to be running low. You're the giver of all gifts. Bal hoa bandhan shute. The only thing that's broken are the bonds that are around you. There is no one that can tie you. There is none that can break you. You're the giver of all Shakti. Bal hoa bandhan shute, sab kich hote upaay. Everything is in your hand. Nanak sab kich tumre haath mein, tum hi hot sahai. The teaching for us is, as we waver, as we look to others, we go to other places for the solution to our problems. Guru Maharaj is saying to us, we don't think we have to go anywhere else. We're so blessed. We might have problems in our life, but there's never a problem that we can't bring to our Satguru. We can't speak for tomorrow's problems, but we can say that whatever they are, we can always come to the Satguru. Our Satguru has taught us just that. And that is the only pankti in Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj that is attributed to Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. That pankti that we just went through is the only Shabad in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj that was delivered from the heavens by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji have written that letter. They've been told that they're going to have their head cut. Jalaluddin is making those threats that I'm not going to waver. Try and test me. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj is saying, you try and test me. There's no test. Don't think for a second that I'm going to waver. They say to Bhai Jaita Ji, we watch carefully. Go and sit in Chonkri. When this executioner tries to take the head from me, it will appear in your laps. When my head appears in your laps, go straight to Anandpur Sahib. Bhai Jaita Ji, they go and sit just outside of that place of Chandni Chowk and they follow the instructions. And just as Jalaluddin would go to take the head of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, as they bring their blade down, the cease of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji appears in the hands of Bhai Jaita Ji and they make immediately to Anandpur Sahib, where Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj and the Sangat and Mata Gujri Ji are reflecting upon the letter of death, the letter giving the true meaning of life. The emperor comes to hear that the cease of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj has been taken. They are bent to send a message to those that would stand up against the might of the imperial army and those that would seek to bring Islam across the face of Hindustan. They say nobody, these are the orders, nobody is to touch the body of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. Keep that body in the square, in that place where all of those who have seen the tortures and the executions have presently watched. Nobody's to touch that body. The plans were to desecrate that body and to send it to different parts of India to say, this is the might of the Mughal Empire. This is what will happen if you stand. Now in that place, Sadh Sangat Ji, there was a Gurmukh. And their name was Lakhi Shah Vanjara. Lakhi Shah Vanjara was extremely wealthy. They were, if you will, the most wealthy of contractors on an international scale at that time. They had a contract with the imperial army to supply food to the whole of the Mughal army and clothing. So they would contract with Aurangzeb. That was the level in which they operated. It is said that their wealth was so great, they had 500 ships. Another person in history who was extremely wealthy was Makhan Shah Labana. It is said that Lakhi Shah Vanjara, their worth was about 100 times the value of Makhan Shah Labana, to give an idea of the extent of their material wealth. Lakhi Shah Vanjara was a good Sikh of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. They come to learn that my Guru has become Shaheed, and that the plan is to undertake desecration, to do biadbi of the body of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. They say, I can't have this. I can't have this happen. But what to do? An order has been given. So they make their ardasa, they approach that square. It is said that at that time a storm comes. And as the storm comes whipping dust into the air, Lakhi Shah Vanjara is afforded his opportunity. He goes into the square and he takes the body of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. They take it back to their house. And they think, if I set a flame in wood, if I light samagari, and in this way I set a flame in this wood, people will see the smoke and they're going to come. And before the sanskar, the ceremony of sanskar can take place, the imperial forces will come and they will stop this from taking place. So what to do? Lakhi Shah Vanjara, undeterred, they say, I know what I will do. Taking Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's body, their sarir, deep into their own house, they set a fire to their own house. They burn their whole house down. And in this way, the flames of the house disguise the real funeral pyre of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. And as the house is burnt to a cinder and those flames are licking the sky, and soldiers see the house of Lakhi Shah Vanjara burning down, rumours begin to spread. Rumours begin to spread, and spies tell Aurangzeb, we hear that Lakhi Shah Vanjara, actually they've burnt their house down to hide the fact that really they've gone against your order and they've taken the body of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. Aurangzeb is like, I cannot believe this. They're like mates on a business level. They sit together frequently. They go, send 2 soldiers to the house of Lakhi Shah Vanjara, or that place where the cinders of Lakhi Shah Vanjara now remain, and summon them to answer my questions. It is said that when the soldiers reach Lakhi Shah Vanjara, they say, the emperor has summoned you, you've got to come and answer. Lakhi Shah Vanjara knows, obviously. Imperial guards have turned up at their house. They have 5 sons. They have 5 sons in their company. They say immediately to their sons, leave this place and go straight to Anandpur Sahib. I have been summoned, but you have not. I have been summoned to that place. You have not been summoned. Leave this place and go to Anandpur Sahib. Go and seek the sanctuary of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. Lakhi Shah Vanjara goes with those guards that have been sent to summon them, and they enter that court of Aurangzeb. And Aurangzeb asks them a question, say, yo, is it true? I can't believe it. My heart aches. Is it true you've broken your friendship with me? You've broken an imperial order that I have given. Tell me it's not true. I don't believe it. Lakhi Shah Vanjara says, ask your question. Did you remove that body of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji and do the Antam Sanskar ceremony, that now the head is gone and the body has also left this world? Is this true that you've done this? Lakhi Shah Vanjara says, 100%. I took the body from Chandni Chowk, I took it to my house and I burnt my house down. What of it? They go, that was against an order and you're supposed to be my friend. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, listen very carefully to this Sikhya. Lakhi Shah Vanjara looks Aurangzeb in the eyes and they say, listen very carefully. We do business together. That's our karam. That's my actions. Karam means actions. It means business. We do karam together. But don't ever think that you can mix my karam with my taram. Akho Satanam Siri. But don't think for a second that when the time comes for my taram to be brought into the fore, that my karam with you has anything to bear upon my taram. We might be mates, we might do work together, but I will never compromise or sacrifice my taram. That is the head of my taram, that is my Satguru, and they will always come first. That is Lakhi Shah Vanjara. You know what's really interesting, Sad Sangat Ji, how deep down the rabbit hole you want to go. About 200 years earlier, Bhagat Gobind Ji, In Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, they write a Shabad. Kabir aisa koi na janmiyo, apne kar lave aag. Pancho lar ke jar ke, rahe Ram live lag. Aisa koi na janmiyo. Bhagat Kabir Ji is wondering, they're pondering, they say to Parameshwar Vaheguru, yo, nobody's ever been born. Apne kar lave aag, that will set fire to their own house. Everybody's building their house. They're doing puja to their home. Everything else is second, but the extension comes first. The loft conversion comes first. Everybody is undertaking so much worship of their house. Nobody's burnt their house to the ground in an offering. Kabir aisa koi na janmiyo. No one's ever been born. Apne kar lave aag. Pancho lar ke jar ke, rahe Ram live lag. Nobody's ever offered their 5 sons. Says Bhagat Kabir Ji 200 years earlier. Pancho lar ke jar ke, rahe Ram live lag. Nobody's offered their sons remaining lovingly imbued with the name of God. Akho Satnam Sri. What we know of the saints be Nanak Daas, Mukte jo bole, iha uha. Such a hove, that when the saints speak, their words become true in this world and the world beyond. That Lakhi Shah Vanjara would answer the call when the time came, although they had all of Maya falling at their feet. They discarded all of it. You know what's really interesting, Sadh Sangat Ji? Lakhi Shah Vanjara makes this offering. Lakhi Shah Vanjara sends their sons to Anandpur Sahib. They answer to Aurangzeb. Do you know what happens to Lakhi Shah Vanjara? When they look Aurangzeb in the eyes and they say that my Dharam is pakka within me. Dige na dole, drir kar rahe ho, puran hoy triptani. That whatever comes your way, you remain steadfast. You remain the path. You remain the course. You treat it as a test. You slip the punches and you move forward. You know what happens to Lakhi Shah Vanjara when they speak from their Dharam? Absolutely nothing. They live into their 90s. Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji, what teaching is this? We're all living one step away from our Dharam, scared of what might happen to us if we turn up at work in a patka. What might happen to us if we refuse to eat meat from the canteen? What might happen to us if we start doing Nityanem in front of our in-laws in our houses? Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji, this is just a fear that's built up in our own minds. And the truth of the matter is that when you show an allegiance to Dharam, when you show integrity in who you want to be, you will stroke the inspiration within other people. People will part for you. And you'll realize that the fear of what that person might say or do actually existed only within you. It's time, Sadh Sangat Ji, that we stop sacrificing our own Dharam for our Karam. We got it the other way around. And I'm speaking primarily to myself here. We got our Karam first. We're trying to do our worldly duties, make sure everyone's happy with us as we seek validation and approval from the world. Then, in the corner when no one's looking, we practice our Dharam. In the dark quiet of the night, we practice our Dharam. And Lakhi Shah Vanjara is saying to Aurangzeb, don't confuse my Karam with my Dharam. We might do work together, but that's behind my Dharam. My Dharam will always come first. I've spoken on this in the past, Sadh Sangat Ji. I remember when I tried to keep my gaze. And I remember trying to grow my gaze, wondering what everybody was going to think. On 2 occasions, as I kept my gaze getting longer, I remember cutting my gaze, thinking, nah, I can't do it. And when I finally kept my gaze, when Guru Maharaj finally blessed me with this nishani, this dhat of the Panch Kakar of the 5 Ks, when they gave me the gift of gaze, I remember I would go places and people would be like, that's sick. That's amazing. You've done really, really well. And I'd feel really guilty because I'd be like, yo, I didn't do anything. It was all Guru Sahib. But I did realize that in spite of the fact that I acknowledged that it was my Guru's blessings, I did realize that nobody really knew what is behind other people. And actually, when you represent their own fears being overcome, most people are actually happy if they're your true friends. And if they're unhappy seeing you going forward in Dharam, then you've got to regard them as not your true friends. That's something my dad said to me once. He said, I've got friends of mine that have been buying me a drink for 30 years. 30 years. My family have all come from the pub trade. Most of my uncles own pubs in the local area. And growing up in those pubs, I'd see the same faces as I'd stand behind the bar in my lunchtime, in my school holidays and things like that, living a different life. My dad said many of the guys in those pubs would buy me a drink every night. They'd say, hey, Jag, come in, let me buy you a drink. They'd spend their money on me, their hard-earned money. As soon as I gave up alcohol, those people were nowhere to be seen. And we regard friendship based on our own presumptions of what a friend is. He says, ask that man that will spend £6. He said to me, Amandeep, because ask that man that will spend £6 on you tonight in the pub for a pint. Ask him for £6 for the bus to get to work. No one's got it for you. That you might get to work a little bit early with that bus pass. So the point here is this: oftentimes we arrest ourselves from progressing in our Sikhia because of a mistaken assumption that the world is going to give us obstacles. But really, when you have the courage to face those fears which only exist in your mind, you'll find that all of those obstacles that exist in others will fall away. Aurangzeb saw in Lakhi Shah Vanjara the integrity of a man that wouldn't compromise their dharam. And it is said actually Aurangzeb was in many ways a very strong Muslim. So they recognize that virtue of Tarami ala Banda, and they go, this is a man of fortitude and integrity. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, speaking of the Shabad of Bhagat Kabir Ji, they say, Kabir deen gavaya duni syo, duni ne chali saat, pai kuhara marya, gafal apne haat. Bhagat Kabir Ji gives such a wicked teaching. It's like a slap in our face. They say, Deen gavaya, we forgot our dharam. For what end? To what purpose? Dunisyo, so that we can chase the dunya, that we can seek validation and praise and acceptance from the world. Dunisyo, but dunina chalisa, that dunya that we're placing our foundations on, that we're seeking the happiness from, we're seeking the acceptance from. Dunina chalisa, that dunya is not going to give you any support. Just like in the example of my dad, where he said when he gave up drinking, none of his friends for 30 odd years, he goes, I've bled together with some of those men on the streets of East London. They're all gone. Dunina chali saat, pai kohara marya gafal apne haat. They go, when you do this, when you give up your dharam for the sake of acceptance and pleasing the world, they go, what is this like? They say, pai kohara marya gafal apne haat. It's like taking an axe in your hand and chopping away your own feet. What is that a metaphor for? Bhagat Kabir Ji is saying, how are you going to get there? You're going to walk on your feet. But if you're chopping away your feet, you're preventing yourself from ever making progress and going forward. Bhagat Kabir Ji is making it clear that you want to go forward from wherever state we are right now, emotionally and spiritually. The gift, the secret is in our dharam. I'll say that again, Sadh Sangat Ji. If you want to move beyond where we find ourselves emotionally, spiritually right now, the way that we can do that is through the path of the name of God. Akho Satanam Sri. In these last few minutes, Sadh Sangat Ji, we're going to just go back to that itihas. Today we celebrate the Shaheedi of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. We heard of Lakhi Shah Vanjara, who said to the emperor, you can understand that you're my karam, you're my business partner, but you won't confuse me with my dharam. We know that just before that, when the Shaheedi of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji had taken place in Chandni Chowk, that the cease of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji appears in the laps of Bhai Jaita Ji. Bhai Jaita Ji have wrapped the cease in a Ramallah Sahib and they've set off like the wind to Anandpur Sahib. It is said that in one day, Bhai Jaita Ji and in the company of two other Guru Sikhs, they travel 80 kilometers. They reach a village called Dharam. Sadh Sangat Ji, listen to this very carefully. As we leave the Guru's Darbar with our ardasa in our hearts, thinking, is the Guru going to hear me? Listen to this, I beckon you. They reach this place where Bhai Deva is. Bhai Deva Ram is a good Sikh, an ardent devotee of the house of the Guru, but they've never had darshan of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. They're working every day. They can't escape that place because of their responsibilities. They say, "We tell us of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. Tell us about their plight. When you see them next, can you please tell them about our situation? That we are longing to have the darshan of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. What is that you have wrapped in that gumbal?" By Jaita Ji, they remain silent. They said, "Please come to my house. Your Guru Sikhs of the Guru, the riti of the house of the Gurus. When you see another Guru Sikh, we have satkar. This riti is falling from our house, but it wasn't just 20 years ago that we would invite Ban Singh to our house. 30 years ago, in many of our houses, our mothers and fathers would invite Ban Singh to our house just to shikar prashade. That riti is being lost, the satkar is being lost. Now we see Singhs on the street. We don't even get a fateh sometimes from the Singhs. Bhai Jaita Ji is listening to Bhai Deva Ram saying, "Tell me about Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. But when you see them, would you tell them about us? But what is it that you have wrapped in that gumbal?" Bhai Jaita Ji, they don't have the heart to explain. Bhai Deva Ram, in the silence of Bhai Jaita Ji, they continue. They say, "Look, my wife in our house, we've made this gumbal. We've made this shawl to wrap around the shoulders of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. One day we're going to have darshan of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. We're doing our dasa that one day they will come to our house. That one day Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji will come to our house. Perchance we can give them this gift." At this point, Bhai Jaita Ji, they start to cry. They say, "Even now, the Guru is fulfilling the ardasa of a Gur Sikh." Okho Satanam Siri. And they unravel that Ramallah Sahib to show the cease of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. All night, Bhai Deva Ram and their Mehel, their wife, they do the Chaur Sahib over the cease of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. Sadh Sangat Ji, don't think for a second that the Guru will not come to your house. How will the Guru come to our houses? We can invite them for Sehaj Path, we can invite them for Akhand Path, we can invite Ban Singhs to come round and do Path and undertake Prashade, that we can serve the Guru Sikhs. Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji, if we listen to the Katha of the Shaheeds, we have the Pera of the Shaheeds in our houses. Akho Satanam Sri. Gyani Sukraj Singh Ji told me that, and it will stay forever in my heart. When we speak of the Shaheeds, we have their Pera. And if you look inward and just close your eyes, if you look inward and just close your eyes right now, you'll know your own state has changed. As we heard of by Mati Das, by Sati Das, by Dayala Ji, you'll know that your state has changed. You'll know what it means. Vaheguru, Vaheguru. Sadh Sangat Ji, as we bring this itihas to an end, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji comes to meet, Bhai Jaita Ji reaches Kirtpur Sahib, they send a messenger. They say, "Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, please come and meet me at this place. I have the cease of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj." Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, they come, Mata Gujri Ji, Mata Nanak Ji, they arrive too at Kirtpur Sahib. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj asked these questions. Sadh Sangat Ji, listen very carefully to these questions as we finish up this vichar, as we undertake this journey together, as it comes to an end. These are questions that Guru Gobind Singh Ji asked by Jaita Ji. These questions are written in Sri Guru Katha, which is the Granth of Bhai Jaita Ji. In Sri Guru Katha, you hear these questions. And the questions, to paraphrase, Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, "You bring to me the head of our ninth Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. Were there no Guru Sikhs there present, overseeing this debacle? Were there none there in the galleries that saw the execution and the persecution of these Guru Sikhs? Those beloved Guru Sikhs went to defend the Gurus, to defend those Kashmiri Pandits that are now free. They stood for those that were being persecuted. Did nobody stand for them?" Bhai Jaita Ji says that there were many in the gallery when Jalal Deen would take the head from Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, and it would come to me. There were many there, but nobody wanted to be recognized. So those that were there came in disguise. They couldn't stand out, they blended in. And it was at that time, Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, which you can read in Guru Pratap Suraj Granth by Mahakavi Kavi Santokh Singh Ji. And in that prophecy that would then come down from the heavens, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji would say no. Guru Gobind Ji would say no. I'm going to bring such a Khalsa into this world that if you're a Gursikh in the house of the Guru, that you will stand out in a crowd of thousands. Jab lag Khalsa rahi nyara, jab lag tej diyo mein sara. That unless and until you remain completely unique in your appearance. So Sad Sangat Ji, the foundation for the Khalsa in the form that we now know, the Panchkakar, the Shastar, the uncut case, the Dastar. The foundation of this was laid in 1675 on this day, or in these days, when Bhai Jaita Ji would return the cease of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, let's give thanks for the sacrifice of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Every year, Pandits travel to the Darbar Sahib. Kashmiri Pandits travel from the Darbar Sahib to Darbars, from Kashmir to Darbar Sahib to give thanks. Just 2 months ago, I was in Oxford Circus with Gurmukhs Singh, and Kashmiri Pandits would come to me. They say, we recognize you. Thank you. If it wasn't for the sacrifice of your Guru, we wouldn't be here today. That happened in Oxford Circus, remember? The Kashmiri Pandits came, they say, you are not your Guru, I understand, but you're your representative, your Guru now. And they say, thank you. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, the Kashmiri Pandits remember the sacrifice of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, but we have forgotten. You say, but I know, we know in our minds factually, but we're not living that with our Nityanem. We're not living that in our seva. So Sad Sangat Ji, let's think about bringing Salok Mahalla Nava into our days. Put your hands up if you're going to listen to Salok Mahalla Nava tonight or in the coming days. The Bani, which is the letter, you can spell it Salok Mahalla Nava, just phonetically spelled. You can find it on YouTube. This is the letter that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji sent from the Pinjri to Anandpur Sahib. It contains the messages that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji wanted to share with their Gursikhs and our family. Let's listen to Salok Mahalla Nava more often. And a final announcement on this. I'm very excited to share this news with you. Next year, from the first Thursday in the new year, we're going to start a new uprala with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's blessings. Every week, we're going to be going through the saloks of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, going through Salok Mahalla Nava, going through 2 or 3 saloks every single week. The plan is with Guru Sahib's Kirpa, by the time we reach the Shaheedi Purab this time next year, we're going to complete the Larivar Katha of Salok Mahalla Nava, and then we'll have all been on that journey together. We will repeat the Katha, the Shaheedi Katha of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, focusing on perhaps different aspects, and we will all have had Salok Mahalla Nava installed in our hearts. Akho Satanam Sri. So the Benti is Sad Sangat Ji, clear Thursdays. The Uprala is only working with your blessings and your support. Let's make it that we come to the Guru Ghar every Thursday for Katha. Let's take the saloks into our days. And in this way, we can get close to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. So final announcement, Sad Sangat Ji, next Tuesday is the Cause Forum, which had an amazing reception. We had like 90 Bibbiya here of all different ages, which is what we need. We need the elders to give advice and mentorship to the youngsters. And we need the youngsters there with the energy to do the tasks that are given to them by the elders. So there were 90 Bibbiya here, 90 odd Bana here at the Cause Forum. It's going to be on Tuesday at 6:30. 6:30? And that's going to be in the top hall. And they've got some sweet treats if they haven't, they have to have now. I've just put it out there. So that's going to be Tuesday. So Sad Sangat Ji, these programs are only happening by your blessings and support. Please give us your blessings and forgive us for our mistakes, for the mistakes that we have made. And I'll hopefully, with the blessings of Guru Maharaj, see you next Thursday for the Katha. Lekhe Katha na chutiye, khen khen pullan har, baksan har baksle, Nanak paryotar. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.